second. I don't have my music. Working at me. Unbelievable. Are you ready to be joyful? Well then, let's be joyful.
We just sang about joy and peace and hope shall come in the morning. The amount of abundance that flows all around us and within us in this universe is infinite. It's never ending. Our goal is to be able to actually be aware of it, because it's everywhere all the time. This joy and this peace and hope and love, it's everywhere all the time. And we get so tied up in what we must, should, and ought to be doing, we just fail to recognize it's already there. And once you are aware of its presence, then you can use it however you wish to enrich your life or enrich someone else's life. Everything we need to have an indescribably wonderful life experience is all around us all the time. We just have to be aware of it. And so it is.
It is so funny for me to hear those words, because I came into this life with a certain astrological chart that I didn't know about until about 10 years ago. And the woman who gave me the reading said, your chart is ruled by Saturn, the planet Saturn. And I hadn't heard of the planetary archetypes that were used in astrology. Mercury, the messenger. Mars, Mercury, Venus, love. Mars, that which is forceful, war. Jupiter, spiritual, hope, ideas, connection. And then she said, Saturn. That's what rules your chart. I said, well, tell me about Saturn. Saturn is a principle of limit, structure, contraction, constraint, necessity, hard materiality, gravitas, weightiness, that which burdens, binds, deepens, the tendency to confine and to constrict, to separate, to divide, to cut and shorten, to rigidify, to repress, to maintain a conservative authority, deficit, defeat, failure, loss, alienation, the labor of existence, suffering, old age, and death. That's what rules your chart.
Oh, wonderful.
And I said, is there any good news? And the person who wrote the book that she took from said, Saturn deserves a little bit more attention to that, because it's a little bit of a hitch in a lot of the folks who like astrology and see all these possibilities. It's like there's a little bit more to that. Saturn is the impulse and capacity for discipline and duty and order, that which challenges, fortifies, and deepens. Concentration, conciseness, thoroughness, precision, discrimination and objectivity, wisdom, the harvest of time, effort, and experience. And this last bit, it is the matrix of things, that which provides both limit and structure, thereby permitting the possibility of manifestation. Your challenge, David, and it's something about this. Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves. I am so irritated by folks who can't get things done. And your lesson, David, is to let go of that while harvesting the benefits of Saturn. Saturn can be your master or it can be your servant. Right now, it's your master. Your challenge is for it to become your servant. And it happened a little bit today in the board meeting that we just had, where Patrick introduced ideas on what's our next steps for the Village Home Network that we heard about. I believe it was 2 weeks ago, right, that they came and spoke. And there were some things that I immediately said, well, wait a minute, what about this? What about that? What about this? And I remembered what I learned from my work at Frog Song, at our community just down the road, is that when there is fire and energy, get out of the way and let it happen. So my hope is that we can bring some of this structure of Saturn, but not get in the way of Jupiter, who sees the possibility and who sees that there is some wonderful things going here. So I look forward to Patrick and the subcommittee of gently remonstrating me if I get a little too much Saturn into the room. So I have, it's interesting and it's wonderful to see what the possibilities we have in front of us to expand our offerings to our community. Thank you.
Thank you very much, David. And very well done. I would like to remind you of one thing. Gratitude. Be grateful you're not a Scorpio like me. Saturn's a much easier harness to bear out, I promise you. Good morning, everyone. I am just excited, wonderful board meeting this morning. The energy, the intention, the consciousness. It's just really, really gratifying. Monday night Healing Circle is going to be tomorrow night?
Yes, tomorrow night, but not the following week, because we'll be out of town.
You're going to just leave, huh?
We are briefly.
Okay.
She's got to heal herself.
All right.
I do need a vacation, so.
Yes. Thursday, spiritual book study. Does anybody have a clue when that might be?
It was in the newsletter. I think it's the 16th.
I think it's this coming week, this
Is it this
Yeah.
coming Thursday? Could be. 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th, the 16th, that sounds like a good day. All right. That's the day before Irish Day, right? Yes, okay. Other things. On the 25th, Saturday night, we will again be having our free community cabaret at the Oaks. We are having a band called Los Guachis, and they play indigenous music of the Southwest. A lot of Mexican music, a lot of Native American music. They also play indigenous music from places in Europe like Sweden, and they're amazing musicians. I've known them for years. I've played music with them down in Petaluma. They put on a wonderful show, very interesting. They talk about the songs they're going to play, their origins. It's really, really a good show, so I hope you plan on coming and bring people. Do any of you remember back in November when I had my birthday? Were any of you here when I brought that little round thing that my granddaughter welded, 12-sided little thing? Stand up, Kira. She's here today. She and her boyfriend are staying at my house, and we're just hanging out for a while. And very talented and lovely young lady, and I'm glad she's here. So thank you for being here this morning. I was going to talk about something else, and it just totally, anything that we need to discuss. Potluck. Oh, the last Sunday will be the 26th of March. Anything else? David?
The April potluck being changed for Mike.
Oh, okay. Mike, we just talked about it at the board meeting today. On the 23rd of April, we may move potluck up a Sunday because Mike and Jenny are moving to somewhere. Michigan? Well, they have snow and stuff there, right? A lot. Oh, okay. All right. But anyway, we're going to have like a going away party and a bon voyage party on the 23rd of April. So just be advised. We'll talk about that some more in the meantime. And anything else? Oh, I have to let you know that I made a grave error on the top of your order of service where it says March 10th. It's not. It's March 12th. And I was reminded by Ward, whose birthday happens to be March 12th. Thank you very much, Ward, and thank you for being here, working on your birthday. So, all that being said, next, I apologize for the grave error. Mr. Wayne went through anxiety last week. He had chosen his final song, which was a thing called Pass It On, and it didn't turn out at all the way he had envisioned it. He begged, sent emails begging that we could give it another go this week. So Wayne's going to play it through, pay close attention, then we're going to all stand up. We can stand up now if you want, and we're going to sing this song, Pass It Along.
Pass it on.
Pass it on. It's up to you, Maestro.
And it's on page,
And we're all learning it together. So
30.
there's some measures in there that aren't in here. We don't have the music, all we have is words, so we'll get this.
just 2 times, folks. They're all on page 30 itself. So here we go from the beginning. Ready?
Let's go.
traditional Church of the Oaks fashion. Are you pleased now?
I'm pleased.
Oh, good. I neglected to remember to add to the announcements this morning that we have brand spanking new, up-to-date, current, and I don't think there are any typographical errors in some brand new propaganda. It's available when we have new welcome folders that have some pretty good information, tell our story about who we are and what we are and the direction we hope to continue in. But they're on the back table. If you'd like to see one or you know somebody you'd like to invite to come with you sometime, take one home with you and give it to your friend or your neighbor or whatever. Anyway, they're up to date now. We, at our board meeting this morning, and I'd like to thank the people that participate on the board. They had to get up very early this morning because time changed. And a couple were a little grumpy when they walked in the door. Mike and Wayne were, and David. I was grumpy too. I just didn't let it show but anyway, they give much more than most of you can imagine. There are so many facets to this thing we call Church of the Oaks, taking care of the business and the water bills, the PG&E bills, and the busted glass, and all the different programs, and all the different things that become challenges as we go along. Just part of doing business. But your board always, always maintains a consciousness of the good of the whole. And always looking forward. And I just, I have so much gratitude for the board, and it's one of our wonderful assets. Our prosperity comes, I think, from the foundation of the consciousness of this board that leads us and takes care of our business in such a way that it promotes that consciousness to spread out through our community. So let's read together our affirmation of abundance, may we, and think about the people who really, really work hard to share their time, their talent, and their thought and their treasure with this community. To realize an abundant life, one must practice giving, receiving, and gratitude. May we ponder that wisdom, sir. Thank you very much, Wayne. As we prepare for our practice this morning, let's sing together In the Stillness, number 97 in the wings.
Good morning. It never ceases to amaze me the way in which our intentions sync up for these services every Sunday without fail. Reading the title of the talk, What Do We See, the Beauty or the Suffering? I am amazed at the experience I had last night attending a party for a friend, a good friend. And I'm not normally a party person at all, but Dave knows as well. But I just found myself being drawn to one incredible person after another and having like a deep soul conversation with them. And it just blew my mind. And I had been in a retreat earlier that day that kind of primed me for that. But it really just brought home, oh my gosh, can I see that beauty in people all the time? So that's the core of today's practice. Some teachers that I've been following recently, when asked, what is the greatest service we can perform for others at this time on earth? Their answer was so simple. They said, look in the mirror, see the Creator, look at other selves, by which they mean other people, see the Creator. Look at the creation, everything around us, see the Creator. So I want you all to take a moment in this beautiful church, this beautiful group, to look around and really see the incredible lights that are joining us in this room today. Each one of us and all of our angels. And feel what that does in your heart. This is the healing of our perceptions. To really learn to see the beauty, or rather than the suffering. not only in each other, but in ourselves. Patrick mentioned in his welcome this morning something about harvestability. We are living now in the time of harvest, where our souls are being called to a new way of being. Not simply loving each other as we always have here in this church, but really being willing to let those barriers that still exist in our perceptions melt away, to give way to unity consciousness. The light in me honors the light in you and recognizes its source to be the same. Namaste.
Thank you, Natalie. I left part of the title of my message this morning off. What do we see? The beauty or the suffering? There should have been an or after that. My granddaughter and her boyfriend got here late Thursday night, early Friday morning, and it was pouring down rain down in Oakland, and there were wrecks, and it was ugly. And but Friday it was beautiful, and I said, "What do you guys want to do?" She said, "Well, could we pick up my girlfriend that she used to hang out with in high school when she lived here, and go out to Bodega Head?" Sure. It was the most beautiful day at Bodega on Friday. And the young people decided to do something I call hiking and walk around and stuff. I decided to sit in the car and just absorb the energy. And as I sat there, I noticed how beautiful it was. And 7 hours earlier, I was dead stopped 5 lanes wide for traffic accidents in Oakland, and it was horrible flooding and people hurt and cars messed up and traffic backed up, and this was like at 3 o'clock in the morning. And at 11 o'clock I was experiencing amazing beauty. So what the other or is, we so much hear about the suffering and what's wrong, and we come here on Sunday mornings and we try to make ourselves look at the glass that's half full, and we turn on the radio or the television and we find out it is less than half empty. And what about the possibility that there is a positive and a negative to everything? There is no perfect. When I look in the mirror in the morning, I see pretty much perfection, but there's some, with some searching, I found some fault and some less than perfect. And I know that I've heard from several ladies who I've known in my life that I am actually a whole list of projects. But in everything that we see, we try to look at it positive or negative. Well, there's positive and negative to everything. I think perhaps if we drop the judgment and look at everything in the way that it is, there's some pretty parts and there's some not so pretty parts to everything. There's some very positive energies and some very negative energy from every breathing, living thing. That's what we are, my dear friends. And we get caught up into seeing either or, left or right, red or blue. And the list goes on forever of ways that we're right, they're wrong, in whatever fashion. What would happen if we didn't judge anything right or wrong or perfect? And I don't think there's anything that is perfect, because perfect means it's all good. And I don't think there is anything that's all good. And when I write perfect now, when somebody says something and the wanted response is perfect, I spell it P-U-R-F-I-K, perfect, because even perfect ain't perfect. But how many times in life do we look at people and think, oh, jeez, poor devil, just, oh, God. Or look at somebody, that jerk, somebody ought to, bump into his car going down the road at a high rate of speed. And therein, I just showed the imperfection, the positive and the negative in me that every one of us has. I'm going to read something to you. We have so much abundance of creativity within this congregation. Sometimes I'm kind of amazed at what people within this little family of ours do. There is a lady who isn't here today, I did get permission, who writes a lot of poetry. It's Brenda Woods. And she has shown me stacks of poems. I'm trying to talk her into publishing them. Kelly has books of published poetry, but Brenda has, her satire is off the charts. It's amazing. But her perception of reality is amazing as well. And here a couple weeks ago, she said, I got a new poem, you want to read it? I said, sure. So she emailed it to me. And I'm going to read it to you today because it addresses this question. What do we see? The beauty or the suffering? Wouldn't it be great if we could see it all at the same time and behold how amazing people and situations and events truly are? This is called Against All Odds. I watched him pushing the grocery cart toward the bushes alongside the road, one step at a time, with a determined stride. He strained to maneuver the towering load. His young face was old, haggard and pale, his mouth contorted with pain. He stared straight ahead through eyes that were nearly closed as he trudged through the puddles of rain. His long, stringy hair was tied back with a string. His well-traveled feet were bare. And when a passing car splashed mud on his back, he seemed not to notice or care. He lodged the cart in the sheltering trees and collapsed on a rock to rest, his breath making clouds that circled his head as he shivered in his cardboard nest. He rifled through the hoard of his makeshift possessions for a trash bag to cover his head, then spread out a tarp on the hard rocky ground and then unfolded his sleeping bag bed. when he pulled a Bible from the pocket of his coat and bowed his head to pray, that homeless man touched my heart. When I heard him softly say, "Thank you, Lord, for my humble abode and for the friend you continue to be. Please show me the way to help other folks who are more in need than me." I'm sorry, that just really gets me. What do we see? We see what we kind of have habitually trained ourselves to be. We have all these filters that society has taught us that that's a good thing, that's a bad thing. The young lady, who was the lady that wrote the diary, Anne Frank, she got that. There's good, there's bad in things, but there's good in things too, in everything. That's why I'm so excited about this, the Village Network. It gives us a chance to connect with people and see the awesome beauty that people have. It gives us a chance to share experience. I heard that definition of compassion. It's an experience between equals. And this sharing, this compassion, this Village Network allows us the opportunity to learn how to exist and experience and interact with equals, other human beings, without seeing them as good or as bad, as fortunate or unfortunate. They are human beings having a human experience, just like every one of us. And every one of us can be a jerk, and every one of us can be a loving, caring person. This poem that Brenda wrote, I was never able to articulate it, but Wayne and I went down to COTS a couple of times to talk to him. And that's a homeless shelter in Petaluma. And as we're there, the people outside who have the most justification to be really angry and bitter are the sweetest, caringest people, just like the guy in this poem. "Hi, how are you? Can I help you? Do you need to know where to go somewhere? Good to see you. Have a nice day." And they got nothing except compassion for their other human beings, their other people in their species, their equals. And us do-gooders, we sure put them in their place, don't we? I hope that all of us can grow and learn to keep our eyes open and see the suffering and see the beauty as we go forward in the coming days and months and years, as we continue to evolve and grow and expand our awareness and elevate our consciousness in this community we call Church of the Oaks in Cotati in Northern California. I have a favorite writer that I've studied ever since I was in college, Nietzsche. And most people think he's kind of a jerk in the way that he writes. I always thought he should have been included with the Transcendentalists, but different place, little different time. But I love him in the fact that he intentionally will say things to upset you or cause you to want to have a different opinion or argue. And in so doing, open your eyes and see the other sides to the arguments. And I hope you all read the quotes on the order of service this morning. And I'm going to leave you with a thought. When Nietzsche was talking about art, he said, if you truly consider art in whatever form, its foundation is gratitude. The foundation of all of our opinions, if they're going to contain and create the energy to go forward in a consciousness that we could be proud of and that might do some good in this world, those opinions, those thoughts, those ideas probably could and would and should be based on the foundation of gratitude. Our ideas, our actions, our words will turn out better, I think. Our lives and the lives of the people around us will be enriched if when we get up in the morning, we have a little gratitude for the awesomeness and the beauty and the suffering and the ugly in this amazing experience we call life. I don't know how else to say this message this morning, is that there is no perfect, not even me. But everything in this life experience is awesome, has beauty, and has value, or it wouldn't exist. Let's stand and sing, what a wonderful world we live in, that we don't take the time to see maybe as well as we could. Circle up kind of here.
Give in.
Thank you.